When Michael Jackson died suddenly on June 25, 2009, people everywhere were glued to their screens, overwhelmed by the news that the king of pop was gone. Fans cried in the streets. Tributes poured in from every corner of the globe. A few days later, millions tuned in to witness the massive memorial held at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. A stunning 14-karat gold casket, lined in deep blue velvet, took center stage under the spotlight. It was iconic, just like Michael. But here's the part that still haunts people. He wasn't even in it. Behind the emotional public ceremony was a storm of confusion and disagreement. The Jackson family couldn't even agree on where Michael should be buried. Some wanted the comfort of tradition, Forest Lawn Memorial Park, resting place of legends like Walt Disney and Sammy Davis Jr. Others imagined something grander, turning Neverland Ranch, Michael's magical retreat, into a memorial site for fans around the world. A place as unique and unforgettable as he was. But nothing happened right away. For weeks, and some say even months, Michael's body remained in a strange limbo. There were whispers, rumors, maybe even secrets. His mother, Katherine Jackson, reportedly kept him on ice, not just because of delays or debates, but because she feared something darker, that someone might try to steal her son's body. And honestly, that fear wasn't so far-fetched. Michael wasn't just a superstar, he was a global obsession. So what really happened after that tear-filled memorial? Was Michael buried in that golden casket? Or did the Jacksons carry out something much more secretive? The truth is wild, unsettling, and not what the world expected. Michael Jackson's final journey was as mysterious as the man himself. Michael Jackson wasn't just born to be famous, he was raised for it. From the moment he hit the stage with the Jackson 5 as a tiny 6-year-old, with a voice that could stop hearts, the world knew this kid was something special. He wasn't just talented, he had that sparkle, that electricity. By the time he was 10, he was already a household name, and people couldn't get enough of the adorable kid with the big afro and even bigger voice. But Michael didn't stay the cute kid for long. He evolved fast. In the late 70s and early 80s, he broke away from the group and launched a solo career that would redefine music forever. With Off the Wall, Thriller, and Bad, he didn't just top charts, he shattered them. Thriller became the best-selling album of all time. Moonwalks, white gloves, red leather jackets. He created a look and a sound that became instantly iconic. He turned music videos into cinematic events. He wasn't just performing music, he was making history. The fame, though, was a double-edged sword. Michael was beloved and chased by fans everywhere he went, but he was also scrutinized more than any other artist of his time. Paparazzi followed his every move. His skin color changes, plastic surgeries, his odd behaviors, it all became fuel for the tabloids. Yet through it all, he kept performing, kept giving, kept creating. By the 90s and early 2000s, he was more than a pop star. He was a cultural force. You didn't just listen to Michael Jackson, you felt like you knew him. He was larger than life, yet strangely private. That contrast made people even more obsessed with him, and it set the stage for the chaos that came when he died. On June 25, 2009, the world lost Michael Jackson. But the way he died, and everything that followed, just didn't sit right with people. Officially, the cause of death was acute propofol intoxication, a powerful anesthetic usually reserved for surgeries. His personal physician, Dr. Conrad Murray, admitted to administering the drug to help Michael sleep. But this wasn't a one-time thing. It had reportedly become part of Michael's nightly routine, and it killed him. Dr. Murray was eventually found guilty of involuntary manslaughter, but the questions didn't stop there. Why was Michael taking surgical anesthetics just to fall asleep? How long had this been going on? Who else knew? Some believe Murray was just a fall guy, someone to pin it on while protecting bigger names behind the scenes. Others point fingers at the entertainment industry, suggesting there were people who stood to gain more from Michael's death than his life. There's also the tour, This Is It. Michael was preparing for a massive comeback, a 50-date tour in London, but behind the scenes, it was chaos. He was reportedly exhausted, anxious, and barely eating. Some say he didn't even want to do it. But there were contracts, money, and too many people depending on that show. The pressure was immense, and some believe that pressure killed him. Then there are the wild conspiracies. The ones that say Michael faked his own death to escape the spotlight, that he was spotted alive in disguise, that his autopsy photos didn't look right, that he left clues in his songs, his videos. For die-hard fans, those stories still circulate. Even now, some people are convinced he's out there, hiding, waiting. But let's be real, whether it was a tragic accident, a massive cover-up, or something even darker, what matters is this. Michael Jackson died surrounded by questions. The world lost a once-in-a-lifetime artist, and we still don't have all the answers. What we do have is a haunting mix of fact, fiction, and speculation. And that only made the story of his body more surreal. Because if you think the death was strange, just wait until you hear what happened after. After Michael's shocking death, the world wanted closure, and the memorial at Staples Center seemed to provide that. On the surface, but behind the scenes, things were anything but resolved. His 14-karat gold casket was front and center, but according to multiple sources, his body wasn't even inside. Why? Because the Jackson family still hadn't figured out where to bury him. It wasn't just grief, it was disagreement. One side of the family leaned toward the classic route, Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Hollywood Hills. It was famous, private, and had celebrity neighbors like Walt Disney and Liberace. But others dreamed of something far bigger, transforming Neverland Ranch into a public memorial like Elvis Presley's Graceland. That idea made emotional sense. Neverland was Michael's sanctuary, his dream world. It had a zoo, a train, a movie theater. Fans from all over the world could come and pay their respects. The Jacksons even picked out a spot near the old train station where Michael used to ride a little train named after his mom. But here's the problem. California law doesn't allow burials outside of licensed cemeteries. So to bury him at Neverland, they would have needed to change the law. Jermaine Jackson actually went on record saying, "The people who make the laws can change the laws." But even if they pushed it through, it would have taken months. And locals weren't thrilled about turning their neighborhood into a tourist hotspot. So what did they do? As a temporary solution, they chose Forest Lawn in Glendale, not Hollywood Hills, but a quieter, more secluded part. It was secure, private, the kind of place you could protect a grave from fans or anyone else. In fact, reports say that right after the private burial, the Jackson family had the casket entombed in concrete, not for drama, but out of fear. There were genuine concerns someone might try to dig it up, and that fear ran deep, especially for Katherine Jackson. According to close sources, she was so paranoid about grave robbing that she kept Michael's body refrigerated on ice for months. During that time, the family kept arguing, kept delaying, and then something even more bizarre allegedly happened. Katherine made a private decision, one she shared with only a few trusted friends. She had Michael cremated. No big announcement, no confirmation. Just a silent, secret act to protect her son in death, the same way she had in life. Later, they found a way to say goodbye that felt more like Michael, a way that connected with his spirit. His ashes, according to insiders, were quietly scattered at Neverland Ranch, right beneath the Giving Tree. It was Michael's favorite place, where he'd sit for hours, writing music and poetry, dreaming up the next big idea. It was peaceful, personal, and far from the chaos that surrounded his final months. Even though Neverland had been sold off before his death, the kids, Prince, Paris, and Blanket, they still have access. And according to people close to the family, they know exactly where their father rests. No gravestone, no plaque, just a tree, the same one he loved and the one place he truly called home. Even after the family's private choices, confusion never really stopped swirling around Michael Jackson's final resting place. Fans wanted answers. The media kept poking around. Where was the grave? Could you visit it? Was he even really buried? The public just wasn't satisfied with the mystery. For someone as iconic as Michael, people expected something monumental. Statues, museums, crowds of weeping fans at his tombstone. But there was none of that. Part of that mystery was intentional. The Jacksons wanted privacy. They wanted to protect him, even in death. But for the fans who had grown up with his music, who felt like he was part of their lives, it felt like something was missing. There was no closure. And that created a space where rumors just exploded. Some believed the family was hiding the truth. Others insisted he was still alive, hiding somewhere, watching the world from a distance. that Michael had staged the whole thing to finally escape the pressure and the pain. Over the years, these theories have died down, but never disappeared. People still talk about sightings, still revisit the funeral footage, looking for clues, still question why his autopsy report seemed off, or why the casket at his memorial was empty. It's like Michael's death became just another chapter in the strange, magical, and often painful story of his life. In the end, maybe that's fitting. Michael Jackson was always surrounded by mystery. He lived in a dream world of music, fantasy, and myth, and maybe he left this world the same way. No clear answers, just whispers, just wonder, just a tree at Neverland, and the memory of a man who changed the world forever. If you found this story as fascinating as we did, make sure to subscribe and drop a like, because there's always more to uncover.